It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn, and we all know that this is a national immunization. That word always flips me up. Immunization Awareness Month. I need to be immunized from that one right there. Yeah. Well, anyway, we got a doctor. You've seen him on ABC. He's the go-to guy, Dr. Patel. How are you, Dr. Patel?
Hey, Dr. Patel.
I am living large. I'm excited to be here, and I promise at the end of this, you're going to have the pronunciation of immunization down cold.
There you go, man. Is there a shot for that? Jeez.
Dr. Patel, during these times, our children need to get these shots, but is it really safe to take our children into an appointment to get the shot?
Yeah, for sure. And I hear that question. I understand the concern. And this is actually why we saw a dip in those well child visits and immunizations back in spring. Parents were freaked out. I get it. But right now, not only is it safe and necessary for kids to get those shots, a lot of pediatrician offices, family practice doctors, urgent cares, they're taking the right steps to keep people safe, keep people separated. I've even heard of some of my colleagues setting up these shot clinics in parking lots in makeshift areas. So absolutely safe. I would encourage everyone out there, call your doctor ahead of time. Find out what steps they're doing to keep your child safe and get those shots.
Dr. Patel, you probably saw this video a few years ago of a lady who got her immunization shot, and she was all of a sudden walking backwards. Did you see that one before?
I did. I think it was longer than a few years ago, right? I remember that. I'm tempted to say it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to walk backwards into the traffic. Talk to me here.
All right. So here's a couple things.
Wait, Dr. Patel, we're going to pull up this video and look at it first. I want my team to see it so they know that I'm not just making something up. I want you to answer that when we come back. It is Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're talking to Dr. Patel, and we're talking vaccines. It is a time of year for the children. Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. Dr. Patel is on the phone. Immunizations is the discussion. School is right around the corner. School has started back for some. Now, Dr. Patel, we just saw the video. The lady was walking backwards after taking a flu shot. What are your thoughts about that?
That story, if we're talking about the same one, that was debunked. They found out later that was not actually related to a vaccine, but the controversy already got out there, which works against us. But what I'll say to anyone who is reading these internet stories about these crazy rare neurologic or brain reactions to vaccines, they are so rare that we don't even actually know if they're caused from shots. We're talking 1 out of 1 to 2 million. I've never seen one. I've never even heard of one being medically validated, meaning we're able to say that was caused by vaccines. But people need to remember, we're vaccinating millions and millions of people every single year. In the last 20 years, vaccines have saved over 700,000 lives, 20 million hospitalizations. They're safe, they're effective. I would not worry about that crazy, weird internet video people have seen.
Thank God. All right, so with that, should the children get flu shots too?
Yes. Without a doubt, not only children, anyone above the age of 6 months. Here is what everyone is, I'm just going to come out and say, freaked the hell about, is that flu season's coming. With or without us wanting it to come, it's going to be here earliest September, but we're going to be right in the thick of it in October. And if we aren't protected against the flu, we're going to have this twin epidemic thing happening, twin-demic, someone make that word up, of COVID-19 plus influenza. Every year, we're already slammed with influenza in the hospital. I can't even fathom what's going to happen if we have both happening at the same time. So people have to absolutely make sure they're on top of it when it comes to the flu. Same things apply, the vaccine, but also washing hands, staying home if you're sick, keeping those relatives with symptoms, friends and family, anyone who's sick away from you. We have to do it all this winter.
Yeah. Doc, I get this one all the time. I don't take flu shots. I don't need them. I don't catch colds. I've never had the flu. So why should I take it? It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. Dr. Patel, I want you to answer that question when we come back. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. Immunizations is a discussion. We're talking to Dr. Patel. He's from ABC, and kids need the shot, right? That's what we're always told. Dr. Patel is here to answer these questions for us. 888-909-1514. Before the break, some people said, I've never had the cold or a flu. So should I take this shot, Dr. Patel?
So it varies every year. And I think that's one thing that trips people up is the flu vaccine is custom made every single year. So some years it's way more effective than other years. So let's say one year it's 60 to 70% effective, meaning you get that shot, you have a 60 to 70% chance of not getting the flu. Whereas other years it drops down 20 to 30%. But here's what's important for people to know. If you get the shot, even if you get the flu, on top of that, you have a reduced chance of getting a severe illness or winding up in the hospital or ICU. And that's big because, winding up in the hospital or ICU, even if you're totally fine, that is time in the hospital, that's healthcare dollars, that is long-term issues, the possibility of that. So I would say regardless of what the stats look like, it's always a much safer option for you and everyone around you to get that shot.
So is it realistic to say that once you get this, that you probably will get the flu?
I wouldn't say that. I would say, it's realistic to say that no vaccine out there, just like a seatbelt, a helmet, anything, nothing is 100% effective. But it's realistic to say you still have a possibility of getting it. It's also realistic to say that you have a reduced chance of getting it. You have a reduced chance of getting hospitalized. You have a reduced chance of ICU. And you have a lower risk of spreading it to people around you. You might have someone in your life who can't get the flu shot. A young baby, for example, someone who has cancer, someone who has their immune system is compromised. You're also protecting them as well.
Dr. Patel, it's so many different stories out here about our children and this COVID-19. Now, your president is saying that our children are immune to COVID-19. Is that fact or fiction? Because I'm confused.
All right, hold on to that thought for 1 second, Dr. Patel. We're talking immunizations, flu shots, vaccines, COVID-19, all of it. Don't move. You got a question, 888-909-1514. We're passing it along to Dr. Patel. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're inside the party poll at 888-909-1514. You've probably seen Dr. Patel on ABC TV. He's answering all those questions, and this is immunization time, flu shots, vaccines. We're talking COVID-19, all of it.
Dr. Patel, your president is saying that our children are immune to COVID-19. Is that fact or fiction?
I'm allowed to say BS on the radio, right?
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
you can even say bullshit.
The Band-Aid is off, so it is bullshit. If you could see me, I'd be hitting my head against my computer right now. So it's dangerous. It's scientifically inaccurate. It is nonsense to say that children are immune. Immunity literally means that your body is prepared to fight off a disease before you even get it. You will have no symptoms. It's not true. So children right now have a statistically lower chance of getting hospitalized, but children can absolutely still get severe symptoms, long-term symptoms, wind up in the ICU. Children can die. We're unfortunately have seen this. And the other thing people should know is that, we've had over 100,000 children test positive since July. So those numbers are starting to skyrocket. Children were staying at home March, April, during the summer. So we didn't see a lot of that kind of transmission in that group. But now that schools are popping back up and children are out there, it would be horrific for anyone to think kids are immune. They're not. We have to protect them.
With you saying that and schools are reopening all over the country, do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
Put me on the spot. I like it, though. So, listen, every single person out there, teacher, parent, pediatrician, everyone wants kids back in in-person learning. Not only is it better for their development, a lot of children out there depend on school for food and for safety. But we have to do it in a scientifically driven way. You can't do it based on politics or fear. And so, reopening schools without guidelines is not safe. Just straight up, it's not safe. And there's like California, for example, any school that's going to try to open up in person, they're looking at what the cases look like in the community, and they're making sure that they're doing everything to keep everyone safe. And if they meet those goals, everyone is okay with that happening. They're doing it in New York City, but in some other states, my home state, Arizona, some places in the South, they don't have mask mandates. They don't have any kind of rules about physical distancing. And not only is this putting the kids at risk, it's putting teachers, vendors, parents, everybody else at risk as well. And so, we need kind of national guidelines. We need a little bit of scientific guidance when it comes to reopening schools and not just everyone for themselves. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
All right, for National Immunization Awareness Month, this is Dr. Alok Patel. Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
I appreciate all of you. Stay safe.
Okay, you
You
go ahead.
too.
Everybody